my goodness. Let me make sure this fucking audio is working. Okay, let me check this real quick, guys. Make sure the audio is working. We have a big, big show for you tonight. We're big show, lots to get into. We got Nina Drama and Arman Sarukian are getting too close for comfort. They are doing kick streams together. They're essentially going on dates. And okay, cool. We can hear it. We got the chat popping off. Arman and Nina Drama are going on dates. It's getting too close to comfort. Her dude's getting upset. They're not going to stop. They're doing it for the streams. They're doing it for the IRL. They're doing it for kick. It's getting dramatic. It's causing big, big issues. We're gonna get into all that. Are they taking it too far, guys? We're gonna discuss that. Speaking of influencer news, Clavicular almost dies. He's trying to do stunts. He's got Arman choking his guy out. Now Clavicular wants to get choked out. There's no professional inside. Clavicular is freaking convulsing. He nearly dies on stream. It got real bad. That got real bad. Brendan Schaub is clapping at Nate Diaz over Nate Diaz's recent comments on the Theo Vaughn podcast. They've had beef before, Brendan and Nate have. Now Brendan is interjecting himself into the Nate Diaz drama, which would lead into the stream I did the other day, which says that Brendan Schaub is trying to get a fight with Brock Lesnar. Now he's beefing with one of the guys on the Jake Paul. And speaking of Jake Paul, Kenny Cross is fighting, and Kenny is saying that Jake Paul is doing away with the UFC business model where the UFC pays you to fight and pays you to win separately. Kenny is saying that Jake Paul is paying a flat fee. We're going to get into all that and the business practices, the business side of things. And speaking of the UFC commentator extraordinaire, Joe Rogan had on Bob Lazar, who is a UFO expert, on his podcast. It got real freaky on there. They got really weird and really spooky. We're going to get into all that tonight. Big show. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I see the chat is already popping off. I am your host, King David MMA. I'm a professional MMA champion, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and I coach and teach at Extreme Couture, the best gym on the planet. Before we get started, I just want to shout out everybody that's already subscribed. Okay, instead of telling everybody to subscribe, I just want to shout out everybody that's subscribed and got notifications on, because when it pops off in the chat, then the lives get live and we have a lot of fun together. So shout out to everybody in the chat already. Make sure you check out Fight Circus, home of the freak show fights. Felony Charles Bennett and I did a podcast today. We were discussing Felony's next opponent in Fight Circus. We were discussing the fact that he chokeslammed death sentence at the last Fight Circus here in Las Vegas. And if you haven't seen Fight Circus, go to their Instagram. You're going to see the craziest fights, including a ladyboy kickboxer versus a male kickboxer in a full, real Muay Thai fight. That's just one of the crazy fights they got. Also, tell your coach to go to studiomillions.com. Studio Millions will pack their gym full of students who stay, pay, and refer. I know for a fact, because that is what we fucking specialize in over there, guys. Your coach will absolutely love you. They will owe you big time. Send them to studiomillions.com. And let's get right into it, guys. We have a very, very big show. Lots to cover tonight. Let me hop on and check the chat real quick. We got ARP on the Dawn in the building. We were just on, but the mic wasn't working for some reason. So ARP on caught that, and I got to restart the chat. Now you guys can hear me, hopefully. We've got John Hogan in the building. John has a MMA history, like a podcast, so make sure you check him out if you're into MMA history. We got Lewis in the building. He's doing all the interviews in Vegas now. He's got his thing going on with Fight Chronicles. You know what I mean? We're running it up over here, guys. This is the place to be. And if you guys are wondering, am I in the right place? Well, guess what? Dana White follows me. Andrew Tate follows me. Tristan Tate follows me. Billionaire Grant Cardone follows me. Hip-hop legend, the best rapper alive, Riff Raff follows me, a.k.a. Jody High Roller. You know what I mean? So you guys are in great company, okay? We're going to run this up. Speaking of great company, the MMA legend himself, Felony Charles Bennett, just got in the chat. It's called Cooking with Felony. Felony's in the kitchen right now. He's cooking it up. If you guys don't know, he's got chef skills, okay? So you're wondering, man, Felony, He's an actor. He's a comedian. He knocks people out. Is that all he can do? No, he can cook too. He's in the kitchen. He's whipping up some burgers right now. That's how we do it over here. You know what I mean? We do it all, guys. All right. So let me hit this Zevia and get extra caffeinated for you guys. As if I'm not caffeinated enough already. But here's the thing. I don't listen to nerds. Okay. So this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I have a genuine question. Is there a such thing as too caffeinated? Like for real. Can you actually be too caffeinated? I don't think you can, but I'm not a doctor, so I'm not qualified to say. I just know how I feel and I go by how I feel. That's what we do around here. The chat's popping off. Okay, ARPA says, Felony, the GOAT, actor that can fight, enough said. John Hogan says, what's up, Felony? Lewis said, what is Felony cooking? ARPA said, burger night. Felony said, sweet burger, and then he said deer. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, Felony is cooking deer out there. I believe he got venison. We popped over to Whole Foods. We saw a very uh how would we call it? A very, very large gentleman in a dress at Whole Foods. And I said, Felony, that's why I don't go to this Whole Foods. I go to the one way up, way up in the fucking bougiest part of town that we can get to. Uh John says he likes the fur burgers. Okay. All right. So the chat's popping off, y'all. Speaking of fur burgers, Arman Sarzukian is going to McDonald's every fucking day. He's doing epic cheap meals on the private jet. He's doing cheap meals on the yacht. And he happens to have some female company with him a lot of the time. A lot of the time it's Nina Drama. Now, my question to you guys is how inappropriate is the fact that Armin is openly getting at Nina every fucking time they hang out when she's got a dude? And sometimes the dude's the cameraman, but sometimes the dude's not there. So, like, I believe it was Armin's Ferrari they were driving around in, and her dude calls in, and he's like upset. And Armin's like, grabs the phone and is like, hey, brother, you don't need to call her. She's with me, brother. It's good. Da, 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 da. But boom. And then Nina's like, no, no, honey, so, no, he doesn't mean, I'm sorry. Like the Armin grabbed the phone and checked her dude. Like, what is going on here? We live in a different world. Felony. Maybe you can speak to this. Where I come from, when I grew up, that was unacceptable behavior. She would have to go. She would have to go. Gone. Oh, you like eating McDonald's and Ferraris? Well, then go eat that thing. Get the fuck out of my house. You know, maybe I'm tripping, but I don't find that behavior to be becoming of someone that you would get serious with personally. Maybe things are different today, guys. And yeah, so Armin's doing the most. He's blowing up on Kick. And man, that dude's dad is like a billionaire. So he's out here buying $3,000 white tees, and he's got Neon on the stream, and Neon uh and we've got some people in the Indian community in the chat, and maybe Arpan, you can speak to this. Is $3,000 an acceptable price to pay for a white tee? Because from what I understand of my Indian brothers, we like a deal. Okay, we like a deal. We like a good deal. All right. And so Neon, who I believe is Indian, he's like flabbergasted. Like, why are you buying that, bro? We can go down to the swap meet and get that for 99 cents, bro. Like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your money? And Arman is stunting on everybody. And it's kind of crazy, man, because Arman just beat the Giorgio dude in RAF wrestling twice in a row. And that dude literally goes out in public and does $1,000 you can't take me down challenge. Like, he gives $1,000 if someone can take him down. And that guy wrestled in college in America. And Arman is like, hey, I'm gonna go on a side quest. In between being like the number one, number two ranked fighter in the lightweight division in the UFC, in between trying to steal Nina Drama's dude's girlfriend, Nina, in between taking her out on the private jet, in between the yacht, in between buying the $1,000 t-shirts, right? I'm gonna go ball this dude up in RAF. And now Armin has a match. Allegedly, I thought it was April Fool's. He's gonna grapple Uriah Faber at RAF in a wrestling match. That doesn't even sound fair to me, guys. I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding Uriah Faber's skill level or size. Maybe he's a much larger dude than I thought, but Arman's a big boy, man, and he's winning. He's beating like legitimate wrestlers at RAF. So I don't know how that's going to pan out. But hey, man, listen, Arman is taking advantage of the moment. He's trying to capitalize. He's trying to make the most of it. He's trying to definitely make every play he can, even the plays that are taken. He's trying to make the plays anyways, if you guys get what I'm saying. All right, so let me hit the chat real quick. Okay, that is true. That guy was tall. Oh, yeah, the dude in the dress at Whole Foods. This dude was like 6'6", 6'7", maybe 6'8", like a a large, lanky ass gentleman in a dress. It was. I found it to be visually disturbing. And I'm not here to judge. If that's what that dude's into, let him do it. I just look away. You know what I'm saying? I look away. It's if your vision is going like this and you don't know that that person is going to be there, you go, whoa, what the fuck is, and then once you process what it is, I'm just, you know what I mean, I'm headed to the aisle to get organic 100-calorie ice creams. That's where I'm headed, right? I'm trying to get that out of my head and just move on. You know what I mean? Other people, you might stare, you might go, what is that? Like, listen, man, you can't let it get to you, right? People are people. And I hope that person finds what they're looking for in life. Shout out to them. All right. Uh yeah, you out of here. Yeah. That's the shit we don't tolerate. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Is Nina Drama competing in Power Slap? Man, I thought that was April Fool's. Is that not April Fool's? So the last like 2 days, anything I see on the internet, I just assume is April Fool's. Hey, Trump gave a speech that we're going to war. I'm like, oh, that must be April Fool's. We wouldn't go to war. He said no new wars, right? Is that April Fool's? You know what I'm saying? Hey, gas prices are $5, $6. Well, that's April Fool's. They can't be that high. We got the energy president in. We got the guy who likes the oil and dig baby drill. We got that guy. The gas price can't be $5, $6. That's April Fool's, right, guys? That's April Fool's. Felony black and milds can't be $10. That must be an April Fool's joke. They're trying to play with us, guys. So yeah, I would absolutely love if Nina Drama was in Power Slap. That would be hilarious. That would be really hilarious. There's no way she's gonna do that. That is insane. I got free white tees in the okay, you got the free white tees in the mail. Okay, and then Felony saying, unfortunately, we got Nina can't take a slap. She's probably commentating next to Dana. Yeah, she's probably doing reaction videos. But I would, you know what, man? Listen, she wants to come in and do all the. Let her get slapped one time by a powerful female. Maybe Ellie Dempster. Ellie could slap her. Maybe Jesse Rubio could slap her. Maybe Paige Van Zandt could slap her. Maybe what's her name? Paulina Macias. And you guys are like, how the fuck do you know so many female power slappers? I'm friends with these chicks, and it's just crazy that they went into Power Slap. Like a lot of these girls are MMA fighters. And then they're just like, hey, you mean I don't have to train 24/7 and I make more money and all I got to do is get slapped? These I'm not going to say their names, but multiple of these women in Power Slap literally said to me, independently of each other, they're like, dude, my ex-boyfriend used to slap me. What's this bitch gonna do to me? And then they would go out there like that. I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying that's what they're thinking. They were like, I was getting slapped for free over here with this motherfucker. I broke up with his ass. Let me go get a bag, right? That's how. I'm not saying it's the. I'm just saying that's what these women are thinking. I'm here to convey to you guys the insider information of the mindset of the power slapping women. You know what I mean? So, Nina can't take a slap. She can sit next to Dana. They high as shit. He said, nah, Rubio. Paige Van Sant would be fun. So we're coming to the conclusion that Arman is slapping around Nina. I don't know if he's slapping or he's clapping or what's going on. I like to think, here's how I like to think of Nina Drama. I like to think of Nina Drama as a well-meaning, charismatic, funny, charming woman who's a little bit naive, and doesn't realize that these dudes are flirting with her and that it's like a huge problem to date somebody like that. Like she's just oblivious. She's like, I'm having fun. I'm doing this IRL streaming. I'm being charismatic. That's how I like to hope she's thinking about it. But at this point, she's got to know. And I don't think Arman is the type of dude that's like playing it up for the camera, if that makes any sense. He's not like, hey, Nina, you know what a great bit would be? I'm going to come on here and pretend to be a male chauvinist and then like pick up the phone when your boyfriend calls and then like get on the phone with him and like hang up on him. Like, I don't think he's thinking that. I think that's like his real personality. And I think that she's playing a fine line. And I think she means well. Hey, man, guys, maybe I'm just giving her the benefit of the doubt. Okay, maybe I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt because I like to be hopeful. I like to have a positive outlook on the world. Okay. Anyways, speaking of positive outlooks on the world, um, influencers are now choking each other unconscious on stream for views. So Arman, speaking of Arman, he choked out one of Clavicular's boys, and then Clavicular was like, you know what'll get more views than a UFC fighter choking out one of my buddies? Is if one of my buddies chokes me out. And then because they're not professionals, they don't know what they're doing. Anyways, Clav gets choked the fuck out. Clav starts convulsing. Guys, if you haven't seen the video, he got fucked up. They choked him out bad. He's like, he's real choked out. And yeah, it's super dangerous because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, right? And I'm highly comfortable with danger. So I was hanging out with Arpon the Don, and we pulled up on a Sprouts tonight. And for whatever reason, I must be the dude that looks like I'm the dude to look at, like in public, right? By like other dudes that want to fight, right? So we're at Sprouts, innocent Sprouts, an organic, all natural grocery store, guys. No place more innocent. Maybe Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, but like we're in that category, right? Some dude just is like breaking his neck looking at me and like mad dogging me. And he's not looking at Arpin. Arpin's the sweetest guy ever. This dude's looking at me. And I'm like, bro, what are you possibly looking at? So yeah, it gets kind of nutty out there. I don't know where I was going with that story, but yeah, man, that man saw his life flash before his eyes. It Sprouts. And I'm like the nicest dude ever. I'm like trying to like good vibes only. I meditate every day. I do breath work, right? And then some dude at Sprouts is like trying to start a problem for no reason. I didn't even notice him until I just see a dude standing in front of my car looking at me. Like, bro, what is going on here? People are really tripping out here. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Arpa says his head was rotated like an action figure. His head was about to get rotated like an action figure. Clack clack. You know what I mean? But no, dude, I'm super not into street fighting at all. I think it's silly in its gesture. But like what I'm okay, yeah, this was the point of what I was saying. Is that I'm highly comfortable with danger. Like I have a very high risk tolerance. Obviously, I fight in a cage, right? I nearly choked a man to his next phase in his spiritual existence and screamed for the ref to pull me off him because he was no longer going to be alive if the fight didn't stop because he was unconscious. But I didn't know if he was playing possum or not. I thought maybe he was pretending to be not alive so that I would let go and then he could elbow me. So I'm telling the ref, he's gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you got to stop the fight. So I'm very comfortable with that. I train it every day. I literally had just left sparring felony. Me and Arpin pop over to Sprouts, right? And some dudes look at so I'm comfortable with danger. But these dudes are not trained professionals. So now they're choking each other out. They don't know what to do. And so, guys, I'm not saying choke each other out. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you or anybody you know is getting into the choking each other out for views business, my boy Justin James, he's a UFC fighter. He's very comfortable with risk. He was getting paid $25,000 to fight in UFC. He bet 25 bands on himself and he lost. And then he said he would do it again because he believes in himself. That's how risk tolerant Justin James is. OG, triple OG, real motherfucking G. And he had a great point. He said, if you're going to choke somebody out, have them keep their arms out. That way, when they go unconscious, their arms drop. That way, when they start going like this, you don't think they're trying to fight out of the choke, because if their arms are up, when their arms drop, they're unconscious. But if their arms are starting from a low position and they're doing this, you think they're trying to squirm out and they're like trying to hold out and not tap. And no, they're actually unconscious and they're convulsing. So, anyways, that's the public service announcement of the day, guys. See, you guys come on here, you think it's gonna be Nina drama. And it is. You think it's gonna be Arman Sarukian drama with Nina and the boyfriend and the love triangle and all, and we can get into that, but we're also an educational show, guys. I'm trying to educate you guys on how to properly, not that you should do it because I don't want to be liable. We live in a country, it's called America, where people sue each other. So never choke each other out on the stream. Never do that. Right. And if you do that, I told you not to do it. I'm just saying, in the event that you were to do that for the views, because you want to run it up, because Kick Streamer is like a viable career now, as you can see by me live streaming, right? That's what we do here, right? I'm just saying that my boy Justin James recommends keeping your arms out. That way, when someone goes unconscious, their arms drop, right? So you learn something new on the show every day. Speaking of learning something new, Nate Diaz is about to learn something new because he is upsetting a lot of people in the MMA space. And the craziest part about it is that they're playing right into Nate's hands, right? So Nate has gone in on DC, and that has offended a lot of people in the MMA space, because if you look at their records, DC is clearly the better competitor. He's the better fighter. He was a champion. Nate was never a champion. Nate essentially invented the BMF belt. He didn't even win the BMF belt. He got messed up by George Masvidal. Now, DC is like an esteemed member of the MMA community, well revered for his championship accomplishments. And when Brendan Schaub popped on today and he started saying that Nate Diaz is this, that, and the other thing, they had a beef before where they confronted each other. So Brendan Schaub was the MMA guy when Floyd and Conor were going to fight. So they had the boxing. So what they call it in like Hollywood and production is they call it the voice, right? So like the female voice, that's the woman, and she's going to have the female voice. And then there's going to be the voice of the audience, and that's going to be the color guy that doesn't know the technical terms, but he gets excited. That's the voice of the audience. And then there's the voice of the fighter, like the professional voice, and that's the guy that gives the play-by-play, right? And so in this scenario, because it was boxing versus MMA in a boxing fight, they wanted to speak to both audiences, the boxer and the MMA fighter. So Brendan Schaub was brought in to be the voice of the MMA community. So now he's saying Conor can win rounds. Conor's got a way to win. Conor's Conor's got knockouts. Conor's the bigger fighter. Conor has a chance. Conor has the touch of death power in his hand, in his left hand, actually, right? And so Nate took this seriously and like off camera starts sweating Brendan Schaub like, oh, your boy got fucked up, blah, blah, blah. You don't know shit about boxing. Like banging on Brendan Schaub, not understanding Brendan Schaub's job. Meanwhile, if Conor McGregor would have won and beat Floyd Mayweather, that makes Nate look better because Nate beat Conor. You get what I'm saying? So Brendan Schaub is perplexed by all this, as he should be. And now he's going in on Nate again because Nate's disrespecting DC. DC is a company man for the UFC. He's under employment by the UFC. And now he's promoting Nate Diaz's fight on a rival promotion that's taking UFC fighters when they finish their contract, giving them more money and causing problems for the UFC. And Nate's got all these people talking about it. That's wild. That's the fucking craziest part of this whole shit. Let me check the chat real quick, guys. I'm getting a little amped up over here. I'm having fun with you guys. All right. Page exam will be fun. Because I said it was rotated. Chokehold's about to be the new 6-7. Yeah, man. They're about to start trending, right? The way that 6-7 was a period in time. Maybe people getting choked out on stream is going to be the next thing. MMA lifestyle. Yeah, bro. Martial arts lifestyle over everything. I can't wait to see what you do with the podcast we did today. Yeah, so Felony and I hopped on the Bad Company podcast today. They are in Vegas. They're located behind the actual UFC Performance Institute in the Apex. So in Vegas, the UFC PI is right next to the UFC Apex. It's like UFC headquarters. And Dana White's office is right here overlooking the podcast studio where we went today. And if you guys need a podcast, dude, they literally do everything. You just pull up and you can just podcast in there. So it's called Sunrise Media Network. And we went in to do the Bad Company podcast because the Bad Company podcast is hosted by Cash and Bad Bob, and they're former veterans. And they give back to the veteran community in America by taking veterans out on bucket list like adventures. So one time, Felony and I were at Tough Enough, and they pulled up with a veteran to Tough Enough. The veteran met Felony. Felony signed autographs. They brought him over to meet Nick Diaz. Nate Diaz was there. So the vet is now with the people he's seen on TV, and he's getting to have a one-of-one experience, front row at the fights, hanging out with the UFC stars. Anthony Pettis was there. Anthony Pettis shot the dude like $500 or a G or something. You know what I mean? So it's a really, really cool situation they got going on. They got like a TV deal going. Like they got a bunch of stuff popping. So Felony and I went over there, and we're discussing various topics. Felony had a big announcement. It's his announcement to make. I'm not gonna tell his story, but it was about him and his love life, and he's got some major news, guys. So if Felony wants to spill out on his channel, you can go follow him at Felony Charles Bennett 352, right? Or you can watch the podcast we did once we chop it up. And so the podcast, it got kind of crazy, guys, because we're discussing Felony's walkouts, right? And Felony still hasn't just decided on what he's going to walk out as, right? But he might walk out as a Jewish black dude, right? Like, you know what I mean? That might be the play. I'm not saying it is going to be the play, but that was one of the options discussed. And so then the owner of the podcast studio, who's a Jewish dude, comes in and we start chopping it up. He's talking about old Vegas. He's talking about people buried in the desert. He's talking about the way Vegas used to be. You know what I mean? So the podcast popped off. We had a lot of fun. We talked fights. We talked Felony's next fight, potentially in Ibiza, Spain at Fight Circus. We talked about bare knuckle. We talked all kinds of crazy shit. So yeah, the podcast popped off. That was super fun. We're going to be chopping that up. Make sure you follow me at King David MMA on Instagram. Felony Charles Bennett 352 is Felony's Instagram and his YouTube. So those clips are coming soon. And yeah, Felony feels that I'm good at editing. I hate editing. So maybe if you guys know a super sick editor who can edit so I don't have to, because the edits got to get dropped, right? We got to drop them, right? But I don't want to be the one to do it. So maybe, hopefully, the universe will bring me a super sick editor. So anyways, speaking of the MVP Jake Paul saga with Nate Diaz, my buddy Kenny Cross is on the card. He is fighting the dude who is the KSW two-weight world champion. And Kenny has come out today and said that the Jake Paul card does not pay in the traditional way which MMA pays. So if you've ever fought MMA or know anyone that has, the way MMA fighters get paid, even in the UFC, for the most part, 99% across the board, is you get paid to fight and you get paid to win. So let's say you're going to get paid 100 G's. You don't get paid 100 G's flat. You get paid $50,000 to show up and fight, and you only get paid your additional $50,000 if you win. So let's say there's two fighters fighting for 100 grand each. They don't actually pay out 100 G's. They pay 100 G's to the winner, and they only pay 50 G's to the loser. So that way, even though there's $200,000 like contracted, they're only going to pay out 150 because every fight somebody's going to lose. But everybody goes into the fight thinking like, oh man, I'm going to make 100 G's. Dude, one of you was wrong. So that's the old business model, right? And so you can make plans like, oh, I'm going to go put a down payment on a house. And then for whatever reason, the judges get it wrong because the judges don't know what they're looking at. Now you got half a check. And you still got to pay your quarter. You got to pay everybody. You got a bunch of shit to pay off. They take taxes, all that, right? Kenny's saying Jake Paul's different. Jake Paul is paying flat fees. So if it's 100 bands, it's not 50 and 50, right? It's not 50 to fight, 50 to win. It's just $100,000 or whatever it is. That's not Kenny's number. I'm not here to talk about what he's making, right? But like, I'm using that number because it's easy for math. So that's kind of cool that Jake Paul is paying everybody their full purse instead of fight and win bonus. And hopefully, the Jake Paul card has some big ass performance bonuses. That would be dope too. Also, man, I find this fascinating. This might be the most fascinating piece of what we're going to discuss tonight. I don't know how you guys feel about it. It's a controversial subject. Let me. This is 34 milligrams. Yeah, I'm well over 600 today. You know, I think 1,000 milligrams of caffeine is totally normal. It's challenging to get there though. Sometimes you got to be drinking like energy drinks back to back to back. There's like not enough time in the day to get that much caffeine. Yeah, I mean, if you're training and doing other shit too, right? So Joe Rogan, UFC commentator extraordinaire, had Bob Lazar, the most controversial dude in the UFO community on. And I'm fucking fascinated by this, guys, because Bob Lazar essentially says he worked on alien technology at Area 51. And when he said this, the United States government was still denying Area 51 existed. So everybody was calling him crazy. They're saying Bob Lazar's a kook, Bob Lazar's fake. He's a UFO nut, all this stuff. Well, it turns out Area 51 does exist. The government admits it now. Furthermore, Bob Lazar said that there were certain things happening at Area 51 that there's no way to know that. Like, for instance, one of the things that you get into different rooms by you put your hand in this thing and it scans your fingerprints, right? But this was back in like the 80s. So people were like, dude, what do you, that's not even a technology. Well, it turns out that that's actually, once they admitted that there was an Area 51, it turns out that's actually how this secret base that nobody claimed existed, how you actually got into different rooms. Right. So like his story over time checks out more and more and more. And they got into some conspiracy theories on like that the aliens are us from the future. And that's why all the plastics are in the microplastics are in all the products because they're the goal is to remove masculinity and remove gender from humans. That way we end up becoming more like the grays, like sexless, genderless, big brain aliens, and I don't know about that. I think maybe there's plastics in the water bottles because it's cheaper and people don't care about our health. Like big companies don't care about the public's health because they go, hey, we need to make a profit. People want to buy disposable plastic bottles. We're going to sell people water in disposable plastic bottles, right? That's if that's what they want to buy, that's what we're going to sell. We don't care. We're not going to be the glass bottle company and lose money because shipping glass is heavier when people don't care. Like if the public cared, they'd sell that, right? But the public doesn't care. But the public's also not been educated, right? So, anyways, they got into some crazy conspiracy theory tangents about like what the aliens could be. And then here's the coldest part, man, which is what Joe kind of did when Trump was on there too, which was like the guest is like giving game away in like a coded fashion. Like I'm not saying this. I'm just saying hypothetically, what if, right? I'm not making any allegations, but what if it's not just aliens? What if it's interdimensional beings? Or what if the aliens come from somewhere else that's not outer space? Like leading one into the path of getting into a conversation of like an ice wall or, the center of the earth or under the ocean, and instead of that, Joe just interrupts the dude and starts popping off about Joe's theories. But it's like, that's cool that Joe's got theories. But man, I'm trying to hear Bob Lazar talk, bro. Let's let him cook, guys. So, anyways, if you guys are into aliens and shit as much as I am, I have a lot of fun with it. I believe the aliens are peaceful. I believe that like the only way to get to that level of technological development without eliminating everyone would be to be peaceful, because like as technology advances, in order to have that powerful of technology, you have to be peaceful or else it will eliminate everything. So I believe that's why the aliens have to be peaceful. But yeah, man, I was super into it. So if you haven't check that out. Make sure you check that one out. That's super fun. And they got a documentary, like not a documentary, it's like a recreation. They use like CGI and AI to recreate Area 51. And it's like exact, like Bob Lazar is saying it's exactly what he saw. Like it's spot on perfect. So now I don't have fucking time to watch this, but I'm gonna make time. Like I literally don't have time in the day, guys. It's the fucking craziest shit. But I'm so fucking nerdy and nerded out on the fucking aliens that I'm gonna figure out a time to watch the Bob Lazar UFO fucking new CGI recreation documentary style fucking movie or whatever you want to call it. So that's what the fuck I got going on, guys. I'm training every day, FaceTime with my girlfriend, and watching fucking alien documentaries. Anyways, let me get to this chat real quick. ARMAN garage. Okay. So the boys are headed to the garage. They're gonna have a little meet and greet in the garage. And yeah, let me drink the rest of my motherfucking Zevia. Like even this. I'm gonna email Zevia and tell them to send me money because I drink them on every fucking live, and I drink more Zevias than anyone I've ever met on planet Earth. I haven't even emailed them. I'm slacking. I know what this looks like, right? They're like, dang, man, you went from 242 pounds to fighting at 150 pounds. You're slim, you're ripped, you're shredded. God given jawline, pro MMA champion, black belt. I'm slacking. I should have a Zevia sponsorship. They should be sending me boatloads of cash. I haven't even emailed them. I'm slipping. I'm over here trying to make time to watch UFO documentaries, guys. I gotta get my priorities straight. Does your girl like aliens too? Get this guy a Dr. Pep. Oh, what? Dr. Pep. No, I'll get a Dr. Zevia. I'll get a Dr. Zevia. That's for sure. So on the alien note, without getting too crazy, because this is an MMA show tonight, guys. Nikolai Tesla said that our brains are conductors, and he is one of the greatest inventors in human history. And he said that these were not his ideas that allowed him to create the Tesla coil and all forms of technology. He said that there was a higher intelligence transmitting thoughts into his brain, and his brain was receiving the thoughts, and then the creations were coming out through his brain, which was acting like a receiver to the extraterrestrial higher intelligence that was broadcasting genius inventions into his head. That's one of the smartest people in human history. And that's what he says was going on. I'll let you guys be the judge. Okay. And it's kind of like when Elon Musk says something about like technology, and then there's some dude in Elon Musk's comments saying, actually, bro, that's not da 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 blah blah blah. Reusable rockets will never work. You're an idiot, Elon. Elon's so it's like, dude, that's the smartest, most productive dude on the planet. If somebody disagrees with that dude about technology, they're wrong. Same thing with this, man. If Tesla was saying it, if Nikolai Tesla said his brain was a receiver, right? Receiving communication from above, from the universe, giving him technological ideas that advanced humanity. If he says that's what was going on, I'm going to believe him. Anyways, guys, I appreciate. Oh, Book of Enoch. Let's see. Look, man. Look, I got to hop off this fucking live before we go full fucking far out in the deep end rabbit hole joint. All right. That's like Elon's Neuralink, where devices letting a handicapped guy play World of Warcraft with no problem. Yeah. Yeah. The guy's got people playing World of Warcraft with brainwaves. Okay. And then some Twitter dudes arguing with him in the comment section. You're an idiot. Bro, you go invent brainwave World of Warcraft and then you could speak. But until then, maybe listen to what the dude's saying. I don't know, guys. Maybe I'm tripping. Anyway, it's kind of like when there's a white belt at the gym. and you're trying to help them, and then they tell you how they like to do things. Well, I like to do it like, bro, listen, brother, you're a fucking white belt. You don't know your left hand from your right hand. You when I say base and I push you, you don't even know how to base. You don't know how to balance. You don't, and you're telling me how you'd like to do, bro. Please, I'm trying to help you. Stop talking. You know what I'm saying? Stop talking. I'm telling you the right way to do it. Allow it to land. You know, hey, you guys got me fired up now. What else? That just Nikola, yeah, that's just like Nikola Tesla. That's crazy. Apparently, they got non-implant Neuralinks now. They're basically a mouth retainer. Let me borrow that for a few hours. Izzy. Wait, I'm lost. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but I like it. I'm here for it. So, anyways, I'm gonna hop off the live. Appreciate you guys subscribing. Appreciate you guys having the notifications on. Man, because then the chat gets lit. We end up on these tangents. We're talking Book of Enoch. We're talking about receiving frequencies from the universe, and then those become creations on our physical plane. You know what I'm saying? We get weird around here, guys. That's what we do here. We stay caffeinated, caffeine, combat, and let's go, guys. Love you. Have a good